It's still anybody's guess what will be the outcome of the most recent bid to save 3,000 public sector jobs. This follows a meeting today where the National Union of Public Workers took a list of proposals to the Ministry of the Civil Service that reportedly included wage cuts and shorter work weeks, among others. When the 3-hour meeting wrapped up just after 5 this evening at the ministry's Culloden Road headquarters, NUPW General Secretary Dennis Clark emerged with very little to say about what transpired. The meeting was chaired by Acting Permanent Secretary Alison Fort and attended by Clark and a number of other senior union officials.
Well, we will meet with the members because we have to meet with them.
This week or next week?
I can't say it. This Christmas. This is the time that people would enjoy the festive season, and when the executive and council meet, we'll determine when we'll meet with the rest of the membership.
As the time frame continues to narrow before proposed job cuts take effect in the new year, Mr. Clark is still optimistic that the union can get a positive result.
Listen, miracles happen from time to time, so we don't know.
How were the proposals received?
We don't have anything to say about those. Not right now. It would. No, we don't have anything to say on them. We will wait till we meet with our members and then we can talk to the media then. But for the time being, not yet.
An economist and a political scientist have been giving their take on this country's current economic status, while the head of the National Initiative for Service Excellence says Barbadians need to become more proactive to face the challenges expected in 2014. Our Dale Ford explains.
The Barbados Economic Society says that the recent Moody's downgrade was expected under the current circumstances. That's according to BES President Jeremy Stephen, who says that more downgrades are very possible.
We would not be surprised even further if there are other downgrades within the immediate future if certain plans are not put into place. Given that political discussions have not been centered very much on solutions, on short-run solutions to stabilize the economy in any full amount of way, we suspect that downgrades in the future are very possible and highly likely. So it brings to us a call to action to actually get ourselves in order.
Meanwhile, political economist Dr. Don Marshall is optimistic that the job cuts could be significantly reduced. Speaking on the CBC program The People's Business, Dr. Marshall said he's been working closely with the National Union of Public Workers, which has offered government alternatives to the cuts. He said while the measure was announced by the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister, whose portfolio includes the civil service, seems amenable to discussions.
The proposed job cuts that would see a lopping off of the wage bill is necessary, not the cuts, but the lopping off of the wage bill. And how we get that is where, the modalities of how we achieve that is where you find me not necessarily standing for 3,000, because I still maintain that in a very small economy, you're going to undermine and shatter the confidence. Swan Street is not assured. Me saying on 3,000 people, it can become a wasteland by June, because those 3,000 persons, a lot of them support Swan Street.
In the meantime, the National Initiative for Service Excellence will be pushing Barbadian workers and businesses in the new year to respond positively to the tough economic situation facing the country.
It is our country, individually and collectively, and we can't lay down and play dead. This is the circumstances that we are faced with, a global recession, and it throws up certain problems, and we've seen the problems, but we can respond to the problem.
Dale Ford for CBC News.
Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Maxine McLean, says though Barbados is facing challenges, all is not lost. In fact, Senator McLean said a lot of positive things are happening in the country. Senator McLean was speaking during debate on the amendment of the Value-Added Tax Bill 2013.
There is this notion, and I want to disabuse the minds of Barbadians, that Barbados is all about doom and gloom. We are facing challenging times, but there is a lot of positives happening. And I think it is critical that that message be sent. And I will not pretend that we have not had, and we are making some hard decisions. There are tough decisions to be made. Before I came here, Madam President, I met with my permanent secretaries and senior managers in the committee room looking at the issue of budgets, etc. And we have decisions to make. But the decisions that we are required to make, and we will make, Madam President, will serve to enhance our tourism performance. It will serve to enhance our ability to provide services to the people of this country, and it will certainly, hopefully, serve to wake up Barbadians that every one of us, Madam President, have to look at ourselves very critically. And I would say we have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are we making the requisite contribution to ensuring that all that this country has stood for will continue?
Senator Sir Roy Trotman says Barbados needs to put aside political differences and face the new year together. In his contribution to the debate, Sir Roy said there must be a common approach to the difficulties expected in 2014.
Everyone will join together in finding a common approach to the difficulties and the challenges which might not be so steeped in the partisanship of our Barbadian politics that we forget that the country has to come before the political party.
Former Health Minister Jerome Walcott says not much has changed at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital 6 years after the Barbados Labour Party left office. Speaking in the Upper House today on the guarantee for the institution, Mr. Walcott said the Democratic Labour Party has not addressed critical issues which include long waits in the Accident and Emergency Department, dumping of the elderly and a shortage of drugs.
Overcrowding in the medical and surgical wards still happened then, still happening today. Cancellations of surgeries happening, still happening 6 years after enlightened management. Still happening. The MICU, the Medical Intensive Care Unit, and the Honorable Leader knows about this. I think the Rotary Club West had provided funds for this back in 2006, 2013. Still no new medical intensive care unit. Still sharing the surgical intensive care unit, hence some of the overcrowding for those who are severely ill.
But Senator Irene Sandiford Garner, who served as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health in the DLP's first term of office, said she was saddened by the comments made by Mr. Walcott. She said the hospital is managed by a cadre of professionals who should be lauded for their commitment to the delivery of health care. She said the hospital has always been underfunded. Independent Senator Professor Henry Fraser says Barbados does not need another hospital, and he has suggested 4 measures that can help the hospital become viable and improve health care delivery. Also speaking on the guarantee for the hospital, the professor said several options can be adopted, including a user fee across the board, a fee structure for those who can afford to pay for health care, an increase in health insurance, and the introduction of a health levy.
We are being warned not to increase taxation because everyone's suffering from increased taxation. But until we increase productivity, we don't have a lot of choice. We do not wish people to die needlessly in large numbers because of inadequate care at the hospital. And it is going to happen, Madam President. And therefore, I would hope that the Minister will take my humble advice and to have a meeting of the most important stakeholders to discuss which of these options should be instituted, because some can be instituted more rapidly than others. Some will have a short-term benefit, some will have a long-term benefit. But clearly, as a country that is virtually bankrupt, we cannot continue to provide even more than the Canadians and the British do. After all, those who can afford it don't wait on the waiting lists there. We haven't got such long waiting lists, but the problem is we have a lot of other deficiencies in our system.
We return now to the story from Senator Irene Sandiford Garner, who served as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health in the DLP's first term of office. She said she was saddened by the comments made by Mr. Walcott and added that the hospital is managed by a cadre of professionals who should be lauded for their commitment to the delivery of health care. She also observed that the hospital has always been underfunded.
They're Barbadians used to play hospitals. So they will carry the situation down to the very end, which is a business person's prerogative. But once intervention is made and they understand that once the drawdown comes, they will receive their money, the goods and services are delivered to the hospital. I have had personal experiences where we have had stockouts and a simple phone call to the principal of an organization remedied the matter. Because Barbadians work with Barbadians.
Lawmen are probing a fire at a set of apartments at 3 houses in St. Philip. The blaze occurred around 20 minutes to 10 this morning. The apartment was home to Kate Wilkinson and her 2 children, aged 9 and 6 years old. It received fire and water damage, but residents moved quickly to bring the fire under control before the fire service arrived. 2 tenders, one from the St. John Station and the other from Probin Street, with 8 fire officers under the command of Divisional Officer Ricardo Gittins, responded to the blaze. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. Lawmen have discovered more cannabis plants, this time under cultivation at Coach Hill, St. John. Yesterday, members of the drug squad, assisted by the Special Services Unit, the K9 Unit, and the Barbados Defense Force, seized 188 plants in a bushy area there. The plants were found in 6 sites, ranging from 1 to 6 feet tall. 5 pounds of dried loose cannabis was also discovered in the same area. No arrests have been made so far. One charity organization has made a wish for 2014, and this wish is from the HIV and AIDS Food Bank. Now, the food bank wants more donors to get on board and that the public understands more about HIV and AIDS. And this wish was made today by the food bank's manager and community nutrition officer, Stacia Whitaker.
I wish for the food bank that we would continue to have the support that we need. I know this is a tough economic time going forward in 2014, but one can make a difference. And we just encourage anybody, we pray that the level of stigma and discrimination we can really address that more, because more often that's what we're really seeing is a problem here when our clients come to us, where they're not feeling comfortable going out to work, or you know, in general, whether they're so depressed that they don't get up and do more stuff. So we're hoping that for 2014 that we can have people understanding that.
Students, past and present, along with members of the general public, were guided Saturday night to Christmas Under the Northern Star at the Coleridge and Parry School. The Christmas special was widely regarded as a hit, and those in attendance were taken on a journey through the life of Jesus from his birth to his crucifixion. Funds raised through the event will be going towards purchasing instruments for the school's orchestra. Acting principal of the school, Alva Hood, was happy with the participation of the old scholars.
The second package, really, of this presentation this afternoon will showcase the old scholars band, the present band, and the parents making varying presentations at Christmas time. There's lots of food, there's lots of fun, there's lots of fellowship. And indeed, there's an opportunity also for children to have fun.
Old scholar Nicole Allen says the event was a good opportunity to reunite with old classmates and offer support for her alma mater.
Coleridge and Parry School is a fantastic school. Seeing some people that I haven't seen since 1990, which is a good thing. All of us still look young and good, and it's been great. The entire production this evening, going from the birth of Christ to his crucifixion and resurrection, is a fantastic idea, especially at this time of Christmas where people are feeling a little bit down and out, and so it's a good environment this evening.